Hi, so today I'm going to talk to y'all about some tips and tricks I have for my maintenance of my larger plants here and how to keep them clean, how to keep them healthy, how to keep them growing well between pottings, between waterings, what have you, just some extra, being extra with your plants. Let's get to it. So first off, let's talk with our tools, what we're going to be using with our plants for cleaning. Obviously, I got a great pair of gloves. These are rubber on one side. They breathe on the other if it's hot. Or, just use a pair of rubber dish gloves. That's always good. I got some dechlorinated water here. Some unscented regular dish soap. We're only using a couple drops of this. I have a micro fiber duster, and then we have two microfiber cloths. We'll talk politics of microfiber maybe later, but for now, this is what's the best available on the market and what I like to use because these are reusable. But I like two because I like to keep one wet and I like to keep one dry. So I'm going to go ahead and make my soapy water, get my gloves on, and then we'll start physical tactics. Alright, step one, dust the loose stuff. Obviously you want to get everything off. If there's dust on the leaves, that means the photosynthesizing isn't at its full potential, meaning the plant isn't getting the nutrients that it probably needs to grow. So these things are really important if you want to be a successful plant grower. So just get the loose dust. This is great for step one of this, and also it's great for palms, which are kind of hard to dust with rags or whatever. But this is something that you can get in between the fronds, in between waterings or whatever, and I'll get into deeper talk about what I do for that guy, because I got to do something completely different. But for this guy, so we're just going to give it a dusting. This is my yucca tree. It is an edible plant, which means, like most other edible plants, they are prone to pests and stuff. And this one, unfortunately, gets spider mites quite often. So just regular cleaning is kind of necessary. I don't really mess with too many pesticides. I have one organic one I think I've talked about in a video before. But I don't really like to use it because it kind of stinks, to be honest. So, but from what I have witnessed so far, just giving some elbow grease, some soap and water, some tender love, most of your plants stay pretty tame. And what I like to do is just give each of the leaves just like a little dusting with the dry one. For this one, since I'm going in with the wet cloth, because I really got to get in with it, I should just go straight into the wet cloth. But for your more thicker leaves, like say Scheffler rubber tree, you can just go in, give a little love with a dry cloth. Alright, so actually what I do for this guy, which is quite large, I still need to split this up. But for now, what I found what works is taking it in the shower, putting it in the shower, and just giving it a full drenching. I know what you're thinking. You're like, what? You're watering it with chlorine? It's everything you say. But I will say that is the easiest way to clean it and actually get bugs, because this gets spider mites too. But the shower actually flushes like all of them out because they can't take the jets of water. But what I do after I give it a full flushing in the shower, I take my regular decoordinated water, say from my fish tank, and give it a flushing with that. It just takes a really long time to get this guy watered with just my regular spout. So that's why I always give it watering in the shower because it controls the pest on it, and it's the quickest way to get it fully saturated. And then I just flush it with dechlorinated water, and so far it has stayed green and upright, so I think I'm doing the right thing. If you have any tips or tricks on what you do with your larger palms, let me know. Alright, and this is my Schefflera umbrella tree, and I'm just going to note real quick, for this one, all I really have to do to keep it happy is give it a little rub with the dry cloth, and that's how you can get the leaves to really shine. And I know this really works for, say, rubber trees, even fiddly figs. Like, just give it a little dusting, dry. I just gently rub the leaves, and it's happy. When you keep the leaves nice and shiny, that's how you know it's really growing. And I always see faster growth the more often I keep up with the dusting, especially for this guy. I mean, I got it, and it was just like a little stick. Now it's taller than me. So when making your soapy water, you don't want to add much soap to make the water sudsy. You just want it to be a little slick. That's enough actually to use as a pesticide, I found, for most common plants, at least for mine. And then sometimes, if it does get real bad, I like to water my plants with this soapy water too, because I know the soap actually gets through the plant. Doesn't harm the plant in any way, but it actually helps combat pesticides. And I believe it was my older sister who taught me that, like years ago. But always, just a couple drops in some water, and dechlorinated water, and you'll be good to go. Get all these spider mites off. They're not good because they can spread to other plants, and some they can really wreak havoc. Others can grow back, but others, like I have a cranton that got some spider mites, and it's not looking too well, unfortunately, because of spider mites, but everything else, because you give it some elbow grease, they usually bounce back. As always, thanks for watching. Like my videos, subscribe if you're into them. Comment, follow my Instagram at Daddies Don't Cry. Hit me up with your plans. Let's talk. Thanks.